I may not have their college degree. I may not have their years of experience. You know, this guy might be a lawyer or a doctor or something. But look, at the end of the day, we all got the same hours in the day. I could just outwork them. So my first mode was just the grinder. I was the hustler, the grinder. I would outwork everybody. So whatever they were doing, like how many business plans are you showing a month? 15? All right, I'm showing 30, or I'm showing 45. That's how I would set all my goals. It's just I would one up what anybody else was doing, and I figured that would get me there. Some of my first big failures came, you know, I remember one of my first big failures came. My first MLM company that I joined was back in 1998, and I was a young little whippersnapper. I was probably 20 years old, and I got caught up by the dream, man. I was mesmerized. There was this guy that floated in the room. I don't even think his feet touched the ground. You know, he had this classic suit on that was just balling out of control. Now, keep in mind, I'm just a broke kid, so anybody in a suit is a baller as far as I'm concerned. And you know, he came floating in, but he could speak. He had the gift of gab, and he pitched this company and this opportunity and all this money that you could be made. Started drawing circles, and it's weird. It's like something took over me, and I was just mesmerized, and I went all out on this, man. I told everybody I knew that I was getting rich. And what's funny is if you go talk to people who ever got involved in any kind of multi-level marketing, and I'm not here to say it's good or bad. That's just part of my experience and part of where I got started. But if you go talk to anybody, they usually all go through what I went through, which was you are so convinced that all you have to do is recruit a certain amount of people and you're going to make this money. So it's like easy. I know, you know, Bob, I know Cindy, I know my mom, my brother's going to join, all my friends are going to join, and you're already painting this picture in your mind of these massive piles of cash that are going to be overriding into your mailbox every week. Well, the reality is that doesn't necessarily happen for most, like 99.999%, right? So I went out there, told everybody I was getting rich. They started laughing at me. I did this craziest, stupidest thing. This is the normal dress attire for like a Santa Cruz kid. I threw on a suit. I went down to the thrift shop. I told you the story the other day. I went down to the Salvation Army, and I spent $30 on a suit. It actually came with a vest. It was like a three-piece suit. And it was some janky little suit no one had heard of, and it's like, you know, it's like somebody donated it. But I called it, instead of Salvation Army, people said, wow, that's a nice suit. What's that? I called it my Salvation Armani. My Salvation Armani suit. So I would walk around town in the Salvation Armani suit because I thought you had to wear a suit to be rich. And all my friends were laughing at me, making fun of me, and what happened was I didn't succeed. Even though I was committed to it, I went out there and tried to start recruiting people, and I tried selling the products, and all these things happened. And my very first, I had failed before this, but this was my very first like big memory of failure. Was I sat down and thought, man, I'm working hard. I'm talking to more people than anybody you know does, and I'm dressed in a suit, and it's humbling. At the time I didn't even have a car, so I was walking around town in a suit, like I was that guy.
Oh man.
You know? Like if I had a buddy with me in a suit, we would have been, you know, the local Mormons going door to door. But it's just me in a suit, just me. It was crazy. I had friends laughing at me. I had people telling me that it was a scam. I had all these people. One time in a coffee shop, I showed a business plan to a woman, and then she got all pissed and said, "This is a pyramid scheme, and you invited me here to see this." And I was like, what am I even doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. I just figured I was going to get rich, and everybody was going to join. And I got faced with a tough decision, which was, at one point, do I keep doing this? Or at least do I keep trying this company, or do I keep pursuing this direction? Or do I make a course correction? And that's what I did at the time. I made a course correction. I don't need to get into what I did next, but we can if we need to. But what I did was I ended up quitting that business. Now, I know people are afraid of the word quit, you know, and I was talking with Com about this before. You know, you hear the statement like, winners never quit and quitters never win. But, you know, I quit. The reality is that model at that time in my life and what I was trying to do, it wasn't working for me, and I was exerting time and energy doing that. And I had other opportunities presenting themselves that I was not pursuing because I was busy with this one. I made a decision to quit that opportunity, to quit that business, so I could pursue another path, a course correction, because I wasn't quitting on my idea of becoming successful. I wasn't quitting on my dream of being a successful entrepreneur. I was quitting on the thing that wasn't working. So here's another way I could twist that. We've all heard this, the analogy for insanity. that insanity could be said that you'd be doing the same thing over and over
Over and over, yeah.
Result, right? So it was insane for me to keep trying something over and over and expect that just one day it was just going to work. Now, some people can grind it out, and I give them props, and there's proof that it works. So I'm not suggesting anybody here quit what they're doing. I'm saying for me, I had another opportunity, so I was not succeeding. I was failing at the current opportunity I had, and I had other choices, and I made a gutsy decision to transition away from that MLM opportunity in itself and into internet marketing in its infancy, into website design and search engine optimization business at a time when it was not popular. I made a decision to get in front of a trend that hadn't even been defined yet, that there wasn't even a marketplace for it, but where I felt drawn. So it's really weird. That's just one example, and I can share more, but Colin, to summarize what I'm saying,